So, welcome back to the sessions, everybody. It's been a fantastic day and a bit so far, and really appreciate everybody pulling together and having such a great industry narrative. But joining me today is somebody I've known for several years now, and he's well known to many folks I know as well in the industry, and his recent elevation to Group Chief Executive of Operations for Accenture during a pandemic is something well worth listening to. So maybe Manish, you could start by just talking a bit more about yourself and your background and how you got to be where you are today. Is this something that you always expected to do or wanted to do, or you just fell into it?
Yeah. So I think, first of all, Phil, thanks for having me here. Right? I think great to have a chat with you and discuss with fellow leaders. I think I've been with Accenture for about, now this is my 27th year. So been a long time, in Accenture. I joined our consulting practice in 1995 in Mumbai. To be honest, when I did my engineering, I wanted to be a machine tool designer. There was never a single thought about outsourcing and PPO and operations. I don't think so that I even knew the names, when I did my lifetime. The vision was to be the best machine tool designer. I did work in a couple of Indian companies, engineering companies. When I came into Accenture, that time Arthur Andersen, it was more for the manufacturing practice of Arthur Andersen at that time. So I joined Accenture when it was, the outsourcing was not even there. Small consulting company in India doing premium work, with the Indian multinational side. I spent most of my career working out of India and building, I would say, Accenture's delivery footprint into what it is today. And now when I look at it 2 decades later, it is, I would say, really exciting to lead the largest operations business on the planet. So very proud, very privileged about what I've seen. Talk about major influencers, right? And I will say, for me, the major influencers in my career have been our people. So it is not, I'm always driven by the people who are there on the ground. And I learned more from my folks on the ground than anybody else. So, people talk about some leader, some peer or something like that. For me, it has been the folks on the ground who have really inspired me. Whether it is changing our story, changing our strategy, it has always come not from some big events or leaders, from our people on the ground. In fact, I think some of the most compelling, innovating, and productive ideas that I have at least received and what we are seeing in the play in our strategy have come from our brilliance of our people. So largest influencers, our people on the ground, our people who do the work, our people who are able to think and trying to do things differently. And I'll give you one example, right? Right now, look at our automation journey. Largest robotic workforce in the world, thousands and thousands of solutions we have, was driven by our employees. And this is like 2014 and 15. And I remember the lady came to me and she said, "Why are you making me do this kind of work?" And I think that kind of went on to this thing that we will eliminate. Human beings will not do any work which is measurable, repeatable, predictable, or transactional in nature. And that became our theme, as we change our stuff. So main influencers for me have been my people.
So I didn't realize you've been at Accenture for 27 years. So you must have joined around the time of the very first outsourcing deals with BP. I remember that because our very first HFS roundtable was in a few years later, and Alan Ellis and Russ Taruscio were the guys there who I think they brokered that, but I don't think it was even called outsourcing at the time. So it's fascinating that you've seen the whole journey.
I've seen the whole journey from beginning. You're right, Phil, right? We got our approval for our first center in 2001 for few seats. And I think that's kind of where the story started. You're absolutely right. I've seen it right. I've seen every single client of ours.
Excellent. So what have you learned over the last 18 months that you believe will carry through the rest of our careers? Do you think that we'll snap back quite soon, or do you think we've learned some things that are going to stay with us for always and drive us to do things differently?
I think whatever has happened in the last 18 months and what the behaviors, and I think we discussed about that yesterday, are there to stay. I don't think so there's going to be any going back from where we are, right? If I kind of just reflect back, what we have seen during the pandemic is the digital achievement gap widened. And those who had already invested in digital technologies had the tools and infrastructures in place where they were able to adjust faster, and they found new agile ways of operating. So I think the digital achievement gap widened. While most businesses were unprepared for the impact of COVID-19, I think those with a strong digital foundation, helped them mitigate risk, and they also pivoted much more quickly to keep their businesses running at pace. So I think digital leaders who already invested in technology had the necessary collaboration and infrastructure in place, adjusted their supply chains faster, adapted to the new ways of buying in the new crisis, right? And our research, I think, recent research which we did, even during the pandemic, there was a small group of companies, those with strong digital foundation in place, about 7% of the total. They still achieved about 3 times the profitability and 2 times the efficiency of the peers. Only 7% failed. And I think digital transformation was always a hot topic prior to 2020. However, the pandemic drove a sense of urgency, which we have never seen before, right? And I think that's kind of the one thing which the sense of urgency, super compressed transformation, timelines being crunched. I think we are seeing surging demand and urgency from clients to accelerate the transformation journey, and what I call as super compressed transformation, where transformation is being compressed into months rather than years, and it is like what we have never seen before. I think clients also are realizing that there is no way to go around digital transformation, and relentless focus on creating business value at speed. I think the appetite for transformation has really matured, I think over the last 12 to 18 months, and has become central to whether it is the CEO or the board agenda.
Right. So what are you finding, what techniques and methods are working to compress this transformation, to get this done faster, to make things that may have taken 8 months take it 2 weeks, right? I mean, what do you feel is working and what isn't from what you're seeing?
So I will say there are a couple of points, right, on this. One is, I think we are right now helping our clients build their digital foundation, right? Accelerate their journey to become what we call as future ready. And how are we managing this? We are managing through our Synopse platform. And I think for us, I think platformization of services is becoming the thing. You just can't, do the same stuff without, a platform. And the way, again, we are defining shared services in the future, right, is about analytics, artificial intelligence, automation, right? That's kind of our AAA, driving the business outcomes, and very importantly, the experiences, whether it is of employee, whether it is of vendors, whether it is of the business users, right? Powered by Synopse platform, which is in the cloud, right? And managed by super intelligent people. But I think that is the way we kind of look at the future, and that is what I will say are our enabling, engines, which is the Synopse platform. Now, what does Synopse do, right? Because I think it is just important. It combines, for us very importantly, the human ingenuity and with applied intelligence, right? Which is, the stuff around the analytics and automation and all the digital technologies to change the way the work gets done across technology, process, and people. And I think that, again, the outcomes being to create more agile, more resilient, and more intelligent operating models, to target what I call as the real business outcomes, right? I think we have invested hundreds of millions of dollars on Synopse. And I think what it has created for us is a agile, flexible, remote enabled. I think it's important, it will drive the businesses. I think that it has proved extremely resilient during the COVID crisis, and puts us in a position of strength to really help our clients deliver, successful outcomes. And I think if I were to kind of give you some examples, right, in terms of how we are managing this, I think let me take 3 or 4 examples which are kind of relevant in these times, right? How did Synopse help client build a digital foundation and maintain the business continuity, right? First example I will talk about is demand planning. We applied an AI-enabled demand and supply planning services to really ensure that they can produce and products are available at local stores to meet accelerating demand, increasing shipment visibility, and local vendor consolidation, right, as stores begin the reopening more broadly. So that's one. Second one, which I, again, very, very passionate about, medical equipment. We helped a global medical device manufacturer simulate the impact of the COVID-19 crisis, right, on the company's product line and demand. The accurate advanced data analytics on inventory landing position we delivered gave the client the ability to assess the effect on the year-end cash flow, right? So with this kind of an innovative, tailored solution, the company boosted in this pandemic times by controlling quarterly production while having forward-looking visibility in place. That's kind of the second one. Third one is, again, important in these times around medical equipment sourcing. We helped operate a company's spare parts supply chain to maximize the availability of the medical equipment. And I think optimizing the resiliency of AI-enabled forecasting, right? I think procurement, shipping of new parts, reverse logistics for the defective parts. So that's kind of the third one I will kind of say, right? The fourth one is around inventory management. We really helped manage supply chain disruptions of critical items as well as volatile demands through the use of machine learning to really forecast better demand and supply models. Again, optimizing inventory, thus leading to shortages of less than 1%, right? And that kind of are some of the examples where I think the platform really helped us. Our investments of hundreds of millions of dollars, across this really helped change the clients or help manage clients, their environment in a different way. Ben.
Yeah, I just think it's great to create this environment that is much more data driven, much more outcome driven. What are you finding are the biggest challenges to getting clients into the mindset to leverage a solution like Synopse?
I think it is two things, right? One, I think, is sometimes the clients are still functioning in a very siloed, functional way. Some of these processes that we are seeing, they are across different functions. There's a lot of synergy, right? If you look at end-to-end process, which is the much maligned word, you're not talking about within a function. You're talking about this across the enterprise. So I think that ability to think beyond the function across the enterprise, is one big, challenge. The second one is the change management challenge, across doing and executing this. But we have to really think about this in a way which is cutting across the enterprise and not siloed functional ways.
Well, you're talking OneOffice now. but it's so true that if you can have your people in accounting or procurement, HR, really get a stronger flavor for the impact they're having on the broader organization, how their processes and their data really links in, it really does drive much more of that. I'd say ability to design process and think differently. Like if you talk to anyone from Google, I even know a guy there who runs like the accounts payable transactional work, but they're so excited about where they work because they know what they're contributing to the business and they know the business strategy and they know where they're going. And I think it's the more you can give people that broader perspective and understand the data that they need to do their jobs, it's fascinating. So how do you see this evolving over the next 6 to 12 months? I know India has been such a terrible situation recently, and it feels like it's getting a little better. Do you feel that when we talk in a 6-12 months time, this will be fully in motion, this will be fully in play, or do you think we'll still be trying to figure this hybrid model out?
Yeah, I think let me kind of talk through in terms of where we are, right? I think this is tough times. I think we have been resilient. Our people, I think the industry, have been pretty resilient in this, but it has taken a heavy toll. Heavy toll in the way things are being done. Heavy toll because there are a lot of folks who are personally impacted, either themselves or their family members. And it is tough. We cannot say that things are really getting, even if you look at some of the numbers that we have, they're still around the peak that we had in September in terms of the number of cases, right? But I think that things are improving. I believe that, we have been extremely resilient. Our people have been heroic in terms of what they have delivered. I think I speak this for, whether it's my company or for the industry, I think our folks have been heroic. I think they have delivered. We have not seen, any crisis from a client perspective or any of the other stuff, right? We have been able to manage extremely well. I think our global network, the resiliency of the global network, our presence in more than 50 plus countries was again helped, as we have moved on this, right? Now, I personally believe, right, as you kind of go and you say 6 to 12 months, I think the clients which I'm dealing with and partnering with are even more receptive to partner and to embark on their transformation journey. So I think, Phil, if you were to kind of look at 6 to 12 months, I think we are entering into we entered into the area of hyper growth, I think probably a year back. And I think I see this as a continuing theme. Our operations business, it continues to exhibit strong double-digit growth, right? Our proven capabilities, whether it is around the innovative synopse platform, right? The value-led approach, which had helped us to get a huge market share, right? I think, twice that of our nearest competitor, something which we are extremely proud about, right? I think we are seeing, from again, and what I was looking at the same question you asked about 6 to 12 months, increased client demand for impactful transformation ideas. And I think growing appetite for future-ready operations. I think experience being one of the key levers. Cost takeouts is table stakes. And we will, they want it at scale and speed, and I think we will get there. But I think experience is becoming a much bigger word, whether it is for employee, whether it's for the businesses, whether it is for the different functions, right? Experience has become a huge thing, right? Ability to transition through adaptive service models, catering to the new work from home, this thing, and the gig economy. So I think those are some of the stuff which you will see for 6 to 12 months going more and more.
Right. I still believe, we talk a lot about these location agnostic models, but India is the one location where I think you see real coming together of people and innovation in centers. And even right up until this second wave of COVID, people were still going into the office and still chugging through this. And I still feel that India is going to lead a lot on people innovation, not just its ability to deliver expertise. I really think that this is a place where India will emerge very, very strongly, because no other nation is really building out the environment that India has, and I just think it's going to evolve in a whole new direction.
Completely. I think there is no two opinions on that, and I think we have seen this whether how we have executed the virtual work from home. But the big thing to fill what you just mentioned, virtual innovation. I always used to worry if you're 2 years back about, can we innovate in a virtual environment? Or can we only innovate when we have people together in one room? Because our mindset was typically that we have to be in one room and we have a whiteboard. But I think the way that technology has come, right, the way it has become, an enabler for some of the stuff, and you can see, the different tools that we have. I think virtual innovation is here to stay. And absolutely, the powerhouse of India, the talent that we have, it's our largest location, in the world. There is no doubt that it will continue to lead, us towards more and more innovation, but probably in a virtual environment.
Exactly. Good. Well, thank you very much, Manish. I think everyone's heard a lot more about your story and your ideas and thoughts, and you've articulated synopse beautifully for everybody today. So thank you very much, and hopefully we can catch up in person in a few weeks' time. So
Thank you, Ben. Take care.
Cheers.